Daf Yomi, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 26b, part 2, with the words Hahi Matana. Dehavi Chasimi Allah train Gazlanin, Sofer of Papa Bar Shmuel, Le'ach Shoreh, Dehala Ach Rezinan Alaihu. The Gemara recounts, with regard to a certain deed of gift, on which the names of two robbers were signed, Rav Papa Bar Shmuel thought to deem it valid, despite the identity of the witnesses, as the court did not proclaim about them that they were disqualified. Amr le Rava, Nihi de be'ina nachraza begazan de rabanan begazan de ra'ita mi ba'inan de hachraza. Rava said to him, although we require a proclamation in order to disqualify a robber from bearing witness, this is only with regard to a robber who is guilty of stealing by rabbinic law. With regard to a robber who is guilty of stealing by Torah law, do we require a proclamation? He is disqualified automatically. Siman Davar V'Arayos Ganav. The Gemara states in mnemonic for the following statements with regard to disqualification from testifying: something, and forbidden sexual relations, and a thief. Davar V'Arayos Ganav. Amar ben Nachman, Och le davar achar pesul ne'edus. Rav Nachman says those who eat something else, this is a euphemism for pork, are disqualified from bearing witness. This is referring to those who accept charity from Gentiles, thereby causing a desecration of God's name. They are tantamount to wicked people guilty of monetary transgressions, as they are willing to desecrate the name of God for monetary gain. I don't think this applies today, because plenty of Jews get money from non-Jews today. Hanimili bifarhesia, al betzina lo, bifarhesia nami lo amran ella de efsher le it zone betzina become mevaze nafshe bifarhesia aval lo efsher le chiyutahu. The Gemara comments, this statement applies with regard to taking charity from Gentiles in public. That if one takes it in private, he is not disqualified. And even if he takes it in public, we said that he's disqualified only in the case where he can sustain himself by accepting charity from Gentiles in private. And despite this, he disgraces himself by taking it in public. But if he cannot support himself in any other manner, he is not disqualified, as it is his livelihood. Amar Rav Nachman, Echashud al harayos kasher le'edus. Amar Rav Sheshet, Ani Mari, Arba'in bechatfehe kvekasher. Rav Nachman says one who, due to a rumor, is suspected of engaging in forbidden sexual relations is fit to bear witness. Rav Sheshet said to him, answer me, my master. The halacha is that one who is rumored to have sexual relations is forbidden, have engaged in forbidden sexual intercourse, receives 40 lashes on his shoulders. And yet you say he is fit to bear witness? Amar Rava umode Rav Nachman inyan edus Isha shu pasul Amar Ravina v'item Rav Papa Lo amran ella Leapoke avale oyole letlan ba. Rava says that, and Rav Nachman concedes that he is disqualified with regard to testimony about the status of a married woman, as he is clearly under suspicion with regard to this matter. Ravina says, and some say Rav Papa says, we said he is disqualified only with regard to testimony that removes her status as a married woman. For example, testimony that her husband died, as he is suspected of wanting her for himself. But with regard to testimony that establishes her in that status, we have no problem with it. Pshita mahu detema ha'adifale dichtiv maim ganuvi mimtaku kamash melan techama kaima hachi shrichale. The Gemara asks, isn't that obvious? Why should he be suspected of lying in order to render a woman married? The Gemara answers, lest you say that if he wants her for himself, the situation, meaning her being married to another, is preferable to him. As it is written, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Proverbs 9:17, meaning the forbidden is more pleasant than the permitted. Rav Papa teaches us that this is not the case. As the way the woman is now, being unmarried, she is more available to him. He therefore is not motivated to testify falsely that she is married. V'amar Rav Nachman Ganav Nisan v'Ganav Tishrei Lo Shmei Ganav. And Rav Nachman says that a thief of Nisan and a thief of Tishrei, meaning one who steals during the harvest seasons, is not called a thief. Why not? And is therefore not disqualified from bearing witness. V'hani mili v'arisa v'davar muad v'davar shenigra malachto. The Gemara explains this statement applies specifically with regard to a tenant farmer, and it is a situation where he took a small amount, and in a case where it was an item whose work was completed that needed no further processing. Since the produce was sufficiently processed, the tenant may assume that he deserves additional pay for any further labor and justify taking a small amount of the produce for his effort. Consequently, his theft is not willful. Yeah, it's willful. It's just maybe less than. Ikare drazvid Chad ganav kaba dishare disare upasle v'chad ganav kibura de ahani upasle. The Gemara recounts an incident occurred with the tenant farmers of Rozvid. One stole a kava of barley, and Rozvid disqualified him from bearing witness. And one stole a cluster of dates, and he disqualified him. The reason for their disqualification is that the quantity of produce they stole is not considered a small amount. Hanu kavurai de kavurna shebiyom tov rishon shel atzeret shem tinahu Rav Papa upaslinu leedus v'achshirinu Rav Huna bereid Rav Yehoshua. The Gemara relates there were these grave diggers who buried a person on the first day of the festival of Shavuot, desecrating the festival. Rav Papa excommunicated them and then disqualified them from bearing witness. And Rav Huna, son of Yehoshua, deemed them fit to bear witness. Amar later Papa Behar Rishayiminu Savri Mitzvah Ka Avdi. Rav Papa said to Rav Huna, son of Yehoshua, but aren't they wicked people, as they violated a Torah prohibition? Rav Huna, son of Yehoshua, answered him, they assumed they were doing a mitzvah, as they were burying the dead. Ka meshamtina nehu savri kapara ka avdilan rabbanan. Rav Papa asked, but didn't I excommunicate them for this? Nevertheless, they continued to bury people on the festival. Rav Huna, son of Yehoshua, answered, they assumed we were not excommunicated for doing something wrong. Rather, since the mitzvah of burying the dead involved desecrating the festival, the sages are achieving atonement for us, although our behavior was appropriate. Itmar, a conspiring witness, is one to testify that a certain incident occurred at a particular time and place, and then two other witnesses testify that he was elsewhere at that time. The Gemara discusses the disqualification of a conspiring witness from providing testimony in other cases. It was stated